Ahoy, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Screaminpirate EDC. Today I'm going to do what is essentially part 2 of what I wish I would have known before my first time at Blade Show. I kind of did one of those last year where I did a do's and don'ts. Go back and check that out if you have never been to Blade before, but it is coming up very soon. It's going to be June 2nd and 3rd and 4th, part of the 4th. So without any delay on this, let's go ahead and get right into things I wish I knew before my first time at Blade. So if you've never been to Blade Show before, you should probably be watching this video. So very first thing, if you got early bird tickets, meaning you get in before everybody else, technically the doors to the show open at 10. Now, just for your information, 8 a.m. is when they start letting people kind of file inside. From outside. So whenever you are going over to the show, you will see people sitting outside. Whenever you get there, you know, the day before, if you're getting your tickets or whatever, or if you're in the pit the night before, you're going to see people outside the showroom. They're going to be outside. People stay overnight. I'm not kidding you. It's a thing. If you really have something you want to try to get, and it's a custom piece and it's first come first serve, I'm going to recommend like 3 a.m. honestly. Also, know what room they are in. There is a big room and then there is a smaller room where there are a lot of custom makers, but there are still a lot of big names in the bigger room. It's mostly production now and some of the smaller tables, but there are a lot of big custom makers in there. So know where that person is. Now, if you are not that worried about all of that and you still got early bird tickets, getting in line around 8, you'll be fine. Honestly, you'll be perfectly fine. Outside of that, I believe it is cap passes, which get in a little bit after early birds. And then finally, it is general admission after that. So just to kind of keep all of that in mind. Now, speaking of custom makers, a lot of custom makers do auctions. And what I mean by auctions is sometimes they are silent auctions, sometimes they're auctions on just the table. They might be in their Facebook group and on the table, so just be sure you know that. They get real pricey real fast. I've seen these auctions go as high as like $6,000 plus, so know your limit, know your number limit. And what I mean by that is I can only spend X amount of money. Stop at that X amount of money is what I gotta say. It's just a knife. You'll be okay. So either way, just know that that's a thing. And then some people bring a bunch of first come first serves and there's one auction and there's just a massively pretty version of a knife that they've done and that's the only auction. So keep your eyes peeled. Auctions are everywhere. And if it's not an auction, it might be a lotto. Lottos are my preference. You literally write your name down on a piece of paper or write it down and throw it in a hat, whatever's on the table, and they'll draw it and they'll text you or call you and you won the knife for the price that's listed on the table. So those are my preference. Keep an eye peeled for those. Now, after that, the next thing that really I want to go through, guys, is kind of like it's more kind of like a best practices, but it's still things I wish I would have known. Very, very first thing. There is a map of the showroom floor that you can print out off of the Blade Show website. Print it off and make a route for yourself of where you want to go and what your priorities are. So even if it's just your line goes through where you want to go, you know, if that's the map, you kind of want to say, okay, well, if my entrance is down here, I want to come in, I want to go over, I need to go up and hit this booth and then this one and then this one. Have that routed out because otherwise when you go in, it's overwhelming. There's so much and it's very easy to get kind of lost track of time, where you are, what you've seen, etc. So having that mental image and having that in your pocket of, hey, this is where I'm going first, not a bad idea. Now, after that, know that there are show exclusives. And I'm not going to say there are a ton of show exclusives, but they exist. So just off the top, I know for a fact that Heretic, Protech, Hogue, Microtech, And I want to say Koenig is doing one this year. I'm not 100% on the last one, but I know the other ones are doing show exclusives. So go to their Instagram page and they have them up and what they're going to have, and they're a limited number, and they're always some cool things. And show exclusives are pretty dang cool. And I personally love ProTech ones, but that's a personal preference. Now, after that, know what your makers that you're going for generally ask for knives. So if it's a custom, you're generally looking between 1,000 and 1,500-ish, depending on the configuration. It might be a little bit more than that, but if you are really into a custom maker, you already know that number. But know how much they're going to be asking. If you're going for a custom, know that you need to bring more than $1,000. It's probably just going to happen. You don't want to show up to the table and you just don't have the money. Because the thing is, there's an ATM machine in the convention center. I've never seen it have money. Ever. So where are you going? You better hope they take Cash App or Zelle or Venmo. And if there's Signal there. So you better hope if you don't have the cash. So try to bring the cash is my best advice on that one. Now, after that, if you're just going for productions, you should be more than fine with, like, I would say $500, $750 if you know what productions you're going for. If you're going for, I think ZT is going to be there this year. They've been kind of flaky on it. But if you're going for like that, TRM, if you're going to go over to Spyderco, you might be heading over to, Chavez or Demco for a production knife. You'll be more than fine with that amount. Even if you're going to get like the new Ramlock from Microtech, I can tell you right now that those knives are both right around $300. So you don't need a ton of money coming in. Now, after that, guys, I kind of wanted to say that my biggest advice, though, even with all that money, you don't have to buy anything at the show. You really, really don't. You can just walk around and just experience knives that you would otherwise just see listed on websites. And it's really nice to be able to pick them up and handle them in person. I know a lot of people that are going to be able to go there and experience the brand new TRM knife that they literally today put up, and today is Thursday. They just put up number 1 of their new model. They might have some at the show. They had one last year. You can walk up to the table and pick up that knife and see what it's about, and you don't have to buy it. It's kind of nice. All the new Benchmades that come out every year, all the Spydercos, they're going to have them. Just go, pick them up, see what they're about. Have you ever held a custom Kurt American knife? Not a lot of people have. Go pick one up. Brian Brown's going to be there. He's a massive name. Go pick one of those knives up. Sparrow Knife Co. just shipped out all of those production Strix. I love mine. Guys, he's going to have custom Strix knives at the show. Go pick one up. Now, with me saying that, ask if you can pick them up first. Just don't grab one off the table. Be polite about it. But, experience the show. Experience talking to makers. And, I'm going to be there. There's a bunch of other reviewers that are going to be there. I know Tier 1 Gear Reviews is going to be there. I know Knife Nerdery is going to be there. Neves Knives is going to be there. Lefty EDC is going to be at his booth with Devo. Bearded Gear is going to be there with his booth with Luft Concepts. Yeah, just go say hi to people. Talk to people. Experience the show. That's my biggest piece of advice for you. Now, very last thing, and I'm going to say this, and I mean it. 1, deodorant. Please, for the love of God. You stink if you've been there more than a day. 2, eat something. Take a break, eat something. There's going to be food like in a like right outside the show. There's usually like a Chick-fil-A, and like if you go right downstairs from outside the show, there's like a Subway there was last year, and there's plenty of food options nearby within like a 2-minute drive. There's lots of options. Get something to eat and make sure you're drinking a lot of water. It's going to be hot. There's going to be a lot of people. There's well over 100,000 people that are there just Saturday. Get some water in you. Don't dehydrate. Enjoy the show. Well, guys, that's pretty much all I have for things that I wish I knew before my very first Blade show. Hopefully you found this informative. If you have any questions, please head down to the comments. I will be answering questions before the show. Still trying to do a whole lot of prep. With that being said, I'm gonna try to bring the majority of my collection and have it with me in the pit at the Waverly Hotel, which is attached to the convention center, on Friday night. So if you see me down there and you know there's something in my collection, yeah, feel free to ask. You know, you can definitely check it out. And hopefully I'll catch you guys at Blade Show and on the next one.